So we got a brand new 2024 thriller here starring none other than John Connor himself. Edward Furlong? No. Is it Jason Clarke? No. Christian Bale? No. Nick Stahl, that's the one. There's a lot of goddamn John Connors.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently. So, anyway, Nick Stahl, yeah. A guy that I've seen pop up here and there. We saw him in What Josiah Saw.
Oh, yes.
Which we were big fans of. I thought that was a great horror film from last year.
No,
or
I
2
think
years
that's
ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool film. Very, very overlooked from that year. Anyway, I also think this is going to be extremely overlooked from this year. Anyone I've seen talk about it has good things to say, but it's very limited talk on this at the moment. But we're here to change that. So what is this about? All right, so Nick Stahl plays this kind of like down on his luck, compulsive gambler who is trying to escape his debts and runs off to Latin America to meet up with a friend. And his friend has gotten into something that might even be worse than what he's into. And after something happens, he gets himself in too deep. Now, I was a big fan of this. I thought this was really damn good. I think that it is really tense. And I also think that it does a really good job of portraying elitism, and there's a really great scene in this. It's a small scene, and maybe it'll be overlooked by a lot of people, but there's someone that is part of this thing that he gets himself into, and they're using justifications for what they do. And this just resonated with me so well because this is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
This is like shitty people. I always tell people always want to just believe in evil. And while the acts might be evil, the people who commit them have convinced themselves they're not so bad.
Right.
There might even actually be the good guy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really chilling and actually pretty representative of a lot of the mindsets of quote-unquote evil people out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And the last thing I'll say, and I am very curious on your thoughts because I don't know what you think of this movie, but I think people will go into this and they might find Nick Stahl's performance in this to be a little too one note or a little too reserved. And while I was thinking that throughout the movie, once we get to the end and where we end up with it, I think it makes perfect sense to play him that way. So, and also I thought the title, What You Wish For, is very intelligent because I think it can be looked at in one of two ways. So, yeah, always trying to perfectly navigate ourselves around spoilers is complicated.
It's hard.
But yeah, and if you are a fan of the culinary arts, there's a little bit of good chefing in here. Chefing? Because the plot deals with that pretty heavily.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be surprised in where this goes. Like, I think you'll figure it out before they do. But that didn't hurt this film at all for me. I actually was engaged 100% of the time. I was super into this. I thought this was really, really damn good.
Yeah. I think I might be a little lower on it than you, but I really had a good time with it as well. I do think it's a film that will likely be overlooked, but I really love the setup. I love kind of like the commentary as well that's happening on like certain types of people, and I thought it was very intelligently written, for sure. Like, it is really clever. And what you said about Nick Stahl's performance, I definitely do feel that way, but I also agree with you about how things end, it making sense. I'm still not 100% sold on it, I would say. Like, there's just a little bit missing for me, and I don't really know if that's... I don't know if that's a performance thing or if that's a writing thing or a direction thing. I can't really tell, because I do think he gives a really good performance.
I don't think it's
It's
either.
more of the character.
I don't think it's any of those things.
No?
I can't say what it is, but I have a feeling. Maybe we'll go into spoilers.
Okay.
And then we can talk about it.
Yeah, well, at any rate, but overall, like, I really enjoyed the movie. I really like the location, too. It's set in this really, like, gorgeous, like, very richy house. But I thought it was really pretty, and I liked the location of everything.
Yeah.
And I think that it's, like, a pretty heavy film in a lot of ways. It doesn't really... It's kind of... what's the word? It's sort of deceptively... It's not heavy. I don't know how I'm trying to say that, but it doesn't have a really dark color palette and like very somber like music or whatever, but it's just, I think it's more of the themes and like what's happening that's really dark, but I like that it's not couched in like those like darker shades. Like, I like that everything looks pretty realistic in terms of like the colors and even like and how people are acting and everything, and it kind of makes what's happening even worse because I think it's because it's so normalized is maybe what I'm trying to say. So, and it is hard to talk about without spoilers, but it's a really cool movie. So
yeah, the director of this also directed a movie about 10 plus years ago called A Perfect Host or The Perfect Host. I also quite enjoyed that one, and I don't think he's made like anything like a feature-length film since that. So it's kind of a shame, because maybe he only is compelled to make something when, you know, the muse strikes, and he's like, no, I don't have anything else to say for now. You know, I'm not going to just pump out content because I'm a filmmaker and I need to eat. Or maybe he couldn't get work. I don't know. But I think these are two really, really damn good, low-budget, solid efforts that are made outside of the Hollywood system. You know, I found the plot line for this, while I have seen similar-ish things before, for sure.
yeah,
I found this to feel fresh for me. So yeah, this is just kind of like a classic tale of trying to get yourself out of one bad situation and getting yourself into a much worse one. Right? And I think that if you're a fan of those types of tales and you don't mind a smaller budgeted film, although I find that the film doesn't really... I don't know. I don't think it suffers from any budget issues.
I don't think so either.
You know, it doesn't feel Hollywood, but it feels very well made.
Yeah.
Right? And I think all of the actors are very good. You have some people in this that, while they might be smiling and pleasant on the surface, you can just see the evil, you know, within.
Yeah.
And man, there's just some tension in here. There's some ugly things going on in here, and some like moments that are really gut-wrenching because of like what's happening and what you know of it, and then there's things that are revealed that make things even more devastating later on, that you're like, oh god, I didn't need to know that too.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I was really into this one. So anyway, so if you want to check this out, it is available to rent. I think it's worth your time if you're a big fan of these independent thrillers. Then I think that you should absolutely check this one out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments below if you watch it. I want to know your thoughts.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you there.
Bye.